Simon Sinek did this talk recently, and I thought it was incredible because it resonated with everything that we do here. And the talk was about finding people in the organization that we want to attract that are clearly not toxic, but clearly are trustworthy and competent. So what I'm going to do is take what he suggested and the Navy SEALs, and then I wanted to add one thing to it. So Simon Sinek and the Navy SEALs talked about this. On the y-axis here is performance of an employee or a person, performance or competence. So up here's a 10, like a 5, a 0. 10 being that you're extremely competent and your performance is excellent. Because we're always talking about performance and engagement, and we always talk about how each day might not be as good as the previous day, or but in the long run, if you're trending in the right direction, that's what matters. Instead of using a time interval, he talked about trust, and I thought this was really good. So down here is trust. And he talked about the Navy SEALs, one of the most elite teams in the world that obviously, go out and conquer all kinds of stuff throughout the world. I was thinking like that's kind of what we have to do, but without the life or death stuff. So some people can be highly competent and have real high levels of engagement and performance, and that means they could be here as a 10. But you might have found that they were only a 1 or so on the trustworthy scale. He talks about those people being toxic. So in other words, it doesn't matter how great you are at what you do, if you're not trustworthy, and if you don't feel like you're surrounding yourself with people that are trustworthy, then that person's, not only are they possibly toxic, but they're dangerous. You know what I mean? Because they're so smart. Finding someone that's a 10 on engagement and competency and somebody that's a 10 on trust is almost like a unicorn. They hardly ever exist because everyone has good days and bad days. I mean, besides Linda and a few other people in this world that I know, there's hardly any of these like unicorns, I'm not saying you're not. When Sinek speaks about this, he says that the Navy SEALs would much rather have someone that falls as a 10 on the trust level, but maybe an 8 on the performance level. Because he said, these are the people, they know that the person has your back, that they're consistent, they follow through, they deliver what they promise, everything that we talk about. And it kind of reminds me of behavior analysis in a way. When you reverse engineer it, it's all about we say something, we do it, we self-report. If we're honest about our self-report on our 15-5, on our report outs, on our work outputs, then we're a 10. That means so much more than being a 10 on performance and low on the trust scale. It's easy to spot this person right here, because there's a lot of people that are 10s when it comes to performance. The way he explained it was really funny. I'll never say it as well as he did, but he said something like, all you gotta do is go in the room, ask around who makes the most money, but who's the biggest asshole. You start thinking about relationships in the same way. It would be so much better to have someone that's, say, an 8 in competency, but a 10 in trust, because that's the person that will follow through what they say. When they give some kind of antecedent, like a rule or a strategy or a suggestion, or they lay out a goal, they're serious about it and that they're going to follow through with it. In a lot of ways, this whole team right here, when we all trust each other 100%, because we know that someone's out, we're covering for them and making sure that we have their back, or we know that we're going to make sure we take care of that person's vulnerabilities. I know that we often look at ourselves like a puzzle. You know how like someone has a really awesome strength in one area and another person has a gap in that area, but that same person has a strength in another area, and like a puzzle, we all kind of come together. Although there's hardly any unicorns that are a 10 on the trust scale and a 10 on competency, engagement, and just rock stars, it's very hard to find. This team right here, whenever we come together, when everyone reports out the thing that they're working on, and then we see how it contributes to the big picture, and then you pick up where someone else's vulnerability is, and that person picks up where your vulnerability is, and then we're just a rock star team, that creates our organization like one big unicorn. Like, if they can just be on a 10 and anywhere along here, this stuff doesn't matter, I don't think, about the competency level, because if you all work together, you end up creating this unicorn level. So the people that you surround yourself with, if we all know that one of us is out, the other person covers and doesn't make a big deal about it and has each other's back, I mean, to me, that's just like nirvana. Is that a word? Or is that a group walk group? Okay.